Talk Ava. Learn English with confidence.
I heard two sentences today that should have sounded the same, but one of them felt slightly off, and I can't explain why. It's been bothering me more than it should.
That's interesting. What were the sentences?
The first one was, I almost finished the work, and the second one was, I nearly finished the work. They both sound correct, but the second one felt a bit strange in that moment.
That's interesting. If you heard them separately, would you still notice the difference?
I don't think so. That's the confusing part. If I only hear one of them, it feels normal, but when I compare them, something changes.
That's a very important observation. The difference is not always in correctness. It's often in how natural something feels in a specific situation.
So both are correct, but one fits better.
Yes, and that's where most learners get stuck. They learn that two words have similar meanings, and they expect them to behave the same way every time.
That's what I thought. I always believed almost and nearly were interchangeable.
They are close, but they are not identical in how they are used.
That makes me feel like I've been using them randomly.
Not randomly, but without noticing the subtle difference, and that's normal.
This is actually frustrating because I feel like I understand both words, but I still can't use them confidently.
That's because understanding the meaning is only one part. You also need to understand how the word fits into real speech.
That's the part I never focused on.
Most people don't at first. Before we go deeper, if you're listening and you've ever felt confused by small differences like this, you can support the channel by liking this video, sharing it with someone who is learning English, and subscribing to Talk Ava. We focus on real speaking, not just rules.
That makes sense, because this already feels different from typical lessons.
Good. Now let's stay with your example. Say both sentences again, slowly.
I almost finished the work. I nearly finished the work.
When you say them now, do you feel any difference?
Yes, but it's subtle. The first one feels more natural to me, but I don't know why.
That I don't know why is the key. You're noticing something real, even if you can't explain it yet.
So this is not just in my head.
No, it's not. Language has patterns that are not always explained clearly, but they are felt by native speakers.
That makes this more complicated than I expected.
It can feel that way at first, but it becomes clearer once you stop trying to force a rule.
I think I've been trying to treat them like rule-based choices.
That's common. Let's try something else. Imagine someone says, I nearly missed the train.
That sounds normal.
Now imagine, I almost missed the train.
That also sounds normal.
Now compare them carefully.
The second one feels slightly more natural again.
Yes, and this is where confusion grows. Both are correct, both are used, but one often feels more natural depending on the situation.
So how do I know which one to use?
Not by memorizing rules, but by noticing patterns.
That sounds difficult.
It's not difficult, but it requires attention. Let me ask you something. When you said, I almost finished the work, what did you imagine?
I imagined being very close to finishing, but not fully done.
And when you said, I nearly finished the work,
The same idea, but it felt slightly more formal in my mind.
that's a useful observation. You're starting to feel a difference in tone, not meaning.
So the meaning is similar, but the feeling changes.
Yes, and that feeling affects how natural your sentence sounds.
I think I'm starting to understand why one felt off earlier.
What do you think it was?
Maybe the situation didn't match the tone of the word I heard.
That's a strong insight. The word itself wasn't wrong, but it didn't match the moment perfectly.
That's something I've never thought about before.
Most learners don't. They focus on whether something is correct, not whether it fits naturally.
I think I've been doing that for a long time.
Let's explore that feeling more. Say this, I almost forgot.
I almost forgot.
Now say, I nearly forgot.
I nearly forgot.
Which one feels more natural to you?
The first one again, I almost forgot, feels easier.
And the second one?
It still works, but it feels slightly heavier.
That's a good word for it. Heavier.
So it's not about right or wrong, it's about how light or natural it feels.
Yes, and that's where real fluency begins.
This is making me rethink how I choose words.
That's the goal. Instead of asking, is this correct? You start asking, does this feel natural here?
That feels like a different way of learning.
It is, and it's much closer to how real communication works.
I can already see how this applies to other words too.
Yes, this is not just about almost and nearly. It's about how language works in general.
I feel like I've been missing this layer the whole time.
You were focused on meaning, but now you're starting to notice usage and tone.
And that changes everything.
It does, because now you're not just learning words, you're learning how they behave in real situations.
I think I understand the idea, but when I actually have to choose, I still feel unsure. It's like I can feel a difference, but I don't trust it yet.
That's normal. Feeling something and trusting it are two different stages. Let's slow it down and test that instinct.
I have a feeling this is where I'll get stuck again.
That's part of the process. I'll give you a sentence and you choose. Don't overthink it, just go with what feels more natural.
Okay, I'll try.
First one, I blank finished my coffee before the meeting started. Almost or nearly?
I want to say almost, but I'm not fully confident.
Say the full sentence.
I almost finished my coffee before the meeting started.
Now try the other one.
I nearly finished my coffee before the meeting started.
Which one feels smoother?
The first one. It feels easier to say.
That's your instinct working. You didn't analyze it, but you noticed the flow.
Yes, but I still feel like I'm guessing.
Let's try another one. I blank forgot to send that message. Almost or nearly?
This one feels clearer. I would say almost.
Say both versions anyway.
I almost forgot to send that message. I nearly forgot to send that message.
What do you notice?
The second one feels a bit heavier again. It's not wrong, but it doesn't feel as natural.
That's an important pattern. You're starting to notice how the sentence feels when you say it.
Yes, but I'm still not sure why.
That's fine. Don't focus on why yet. Focus on what you feel.
Okay.
Next one. The train was blank full when I got there. Almost or nearly?
This is harder. I'm not sure.
Try both.
The train was almost full when I got there. The train was nearly full when I got there.
What do you feel this time?
Actually, both feel okay.
Good. That's also important. Sometimes both work and neither feels strange.
That makes it more confusing.
It does at first, but it also shows that the difference is not about strict rules.
So sometimes there is no clear winner.
Yes, and that's why you need to develop a sense of what fits naturally in each moment.
Let's try another one.
I blank missed the call. Almost or nearly?
I think almost sounds better.
Say both.
I almost missed the call. I nearly missed the call.
Which one would you use in a real conversation?
The first one. It feels more natural and easier to say quickly.
That's an important point. Natural speech often prefers what feels easier and lighter.
I didn't think about ease before. I only thought about correctness.
That's a big shift. Now let's pause for a moment. What are you noticing overall?
I'm noticing that almost feels more common in everyday speech. It feels lighter and more natural in money situations.
That's a strong observation.
And nearly feels a bit more careful or structured, even though it's still correct.
Yes, and that difference is not about meaning. It's about how the sentence flows.
So the real difference is not in what they mean, but in how they sound in context.
Exactly. You're moving from meaning to usage.
That feels like a new way of thinking.
It is, and it's important. Let's go a bit deeper into that feeling. When you say almost, how does it feel in your mouth?
It feels quick and natural. I don't have to think about it.
And nearly?
It feels slightly more formal, like I'm choosing my words more carefully.
That's the difference in rhythm.
Rhythm?
Yes, every sentence has a natural flow. Some words fit that flow better in everyday speech.
So almost fits more easily into that flow?
In many cases, yes. It blends smoothly into casual conversation.
And nearly stands out more?
Slightly. Not in a bad way, but it can feel more deliberate.
That explains why it sometimes feels heavier.
Exactly. It's not wrong, it just changes the tone of the sentence.
I think I've been ignoring tone completely.
Most learners do at first. They focus on meaning and grammar, but tone and rhythm are just as important.
This makes me realize that speaking naturally is not just about choosing correct words.
It's about choosing words that fit the situation and the flow of the sentence.
So when something feels off, it's often because the rhythm is not right.
Yes, or the tone doesn't match the situation.
That's a different kind of awareness.
It is, and it takes time to develop, but you're already starting to feel it.
I think I understand now why I felt something was wrong earlier, even though I couldn't explain it.
That feeling was your instinct noticing the mismatch.
And now I'm starting to trust it a bit more.
That's the goal. You don't need a rule for everything. You need to recognize what sounds natural and what feels forced.
So fluency's not just knowing words, it's knowing how they behave.
Exactly. And once you understand that, your choices become easier.
I think I'm starting to feel the difference, but I want to see what happens when I just speak normally without thinking too much about it.
That's a good step. Go ahead and speak the way you usually would.
Okay, I nearly just realized something important about this topic.
That sentence is correct, but it doesn't sound right in this moment.
That's interesting because I thought it was fine.
It is fine in terms of meaning, but it feels slightly forced in natural speech.
So if I change it to, I almost just realized something important, it sounds better?
Yes, that flows more naturally.
I can feel that difference now. The second one feels easier to say.
That's the kind of awareness you're developing.
Let me try another one. I nearly completely forgot about the meeting this morning.
Again, it's correct, but it doesn't sound natural in casual conversation.
So I should say I almost completely forgot?
Yes, that fits better with how people usually speak.
This is surprising. I didn't expect correct sentences to feel wrong.
They're not wrong, they just don't match the natural rhythm of the situation.
So this is where it breaks. The sentence works, but it doesn't feel right.
Exactly. That's the moment learners often miss.
Let me keep going. I nearly just finished my lunch before you called me.
That one feels heavy again.
And I almost just finished my lunch before you called me?
Feels smoother. Yes, because it aligns better with natural speech patterns.
I think I understand now. It's not about avoiding nearly, it's about knowing where it fits.
That's correct. Nearly still has its place, but it doesn't always blend naturally in every situation.
Let me try to use it in a different way. The room was nearly empty when I arrived.
That sounds natural.
So here, nearly works better.
Yes, because the sentence feels more descriptive and slightly more structured.
So when I use nearly in quick, casual speech, it can feel off.
In many cases, yes, it can sound more deliberate than the situation requires.
This is starting to make sense. It's not just about the word, it's about the type of sentence.
That's an important realization.
Let me continue naturally. I almost missed the start of the movie because of traffic.
That sounds natural.
The theater was nearly full when I got there.
That also sounds natural.
Now I can feel the difference without thinking too much.
That's because you're starting to use them in the right kind of situations.
I think earlier I was forcing both words into the same patterns.
Yes, and that's why some sentences felt off.
Now it feels more balanced. I'm not trying to use them the same way.
And that creates a more natural flow in your speech.
Let me try something else. I almost dropped my phone while walking.
That sounds natural and quick.
The glass was nearly full, so I didn't pour more water.
That fits well.
This feels more like real conversation now.
Because you're not stopping to analyze every sentence.
Yes, I'm just speaking and noticing what feels right.
That's how natural integration happens.
I think I'm also speaking more smoothly now.
Because you're not interrupting your own speech with doubt.
Before, I would stop and think, is this correct?
And now you're thinking, does this feel natural?
That shift makes everything easier.
It also makes your speech sound more natural to others.
Let me continue with another idea. I almost didn't come today because I was tired.
That sounds natural.
The project is nearly complete, so we can review it tomorrow.
That works well.
I'm starting to enjoy this process now.
Because you're gaining control over how your sentences feel.
Yes, and I'm not afraid of making mistakes anymore.
That's important, because this stage is about exploration, not perfection.
I also noticed that I don't need to think about rules.
Because you're focusing on usage, not theory.
Let me try one more. I almost forgot to tell you something important.
That sounds natural.
The building was nearly finished when we visited last week.
That fits well.
It feels like both words have their own space now.
Yes, and you're starting to respect that space instead of forcing them into the same role.
That changes how I think about similar words in general.
It should, because this pattern applies to many parts of the language.
I feel like I'm finally using these words instead of guessing them.
That's the difference between knowing and applying.
And it makes speaking feel more natural overall.
That's the goal. Natural speech comes from understanding how words behave in real situations.
I feel like something has changed, but I'm not sure I can explain it clearly. It's not like I learned a rule. It's more like I started noticing something I didn't notice before.
That's a very important point. Not everything in language can be explained in a simple, logical way.
That feels strange because I always thought language learning was about rules and definitions.
Rules help at the beginning, but they don't cover everything. A lot of natural language is based on patterns that you feel rather than calculate.
So when I say one sentence feels right and another feels slightly off, that's not random?
No, that's your awareness developing. You're starting to recognize what fits naturally in real speech.
But if I can't explain it, how do I trust it?
You trust it by testing it, just like you did today. You say both options and you notice how each feels.
So the feeling itself is part of the learning process.
Yes, and it becomes stronger over time. At first, it's weak and uncertain, but with practice, it becomes reliable.
I think I understand now why I was confused before. I was trying to find a clear rule where there isn't one.
That's a common approach. Learners often look for strict rules because they feel safe.
Yes, rules feel stable, but this feels different.
It is different. This is about natural usage, not just correctness.
So fluency is not just about knowing what is correct.
It's about knowing what sounds natural in a given moment.
That sounds harder.
It can feel harder at first, but it becomes easier because you're not memorizing everything. You're recognizing patterns.
I think I'm starting to see that. When I hear a sentence now, I don't just think about meaning. I think about how it sounds.
That's a strong shift. You're listening differently.
And when I speak, I'm also more aware of how my sentence feels.
That's how fluency develops. You move from thinking about language to sensing it.
So it's not about explaining everything.
No, and that's important to accept. Some parts of language are not fully logical, but they are consistent in how they're used.
That makes me feel more relaxed, actually.
Why?
Because I don't feel like I have to solve everything with rules anymore.
That's a good mindset. It allows you to focus on real communication.
I think this applies beyond just almost and nearly.
Yes, it applies to many similar words and expressions.
So if I keep paying attention to what feels natural, I'll improve over time.
Yes, because you're training your instinct.
That's a different way of thinking about learning.
It is, and it's more aligned with how people actually use language.
Let me try speaking again, but this time I won't think about rules at all.
Go ahead.
I almost missed the start of the meeting because I was late.
That sounds natural.
The report is nearly complete, so we can review it tomorrow.
That fits well.
I didn't stop to think about which word to use. It just came naturally.
That's the result of what you've been doing.
Let me try another one. I almost forgot to bring my notebook today.
That sounds natural.
The room was nearly empty when I walked in.
That also works well.
I feel like I'm not guessing anymore.
You're not. You're choosing based on what feels right.
And it's happening quickly, without hesitation.
That's what we mean by instinct.
I didn't expect to reach this point without learning specific rules.
That's because you didn't learn rules. You trained your instinct.
That line explains everything. It feels more like a skill than knowledge.
Yes, it's something you develop through exposure and practice.
I also feel more confident now when I speak.
Because you trust your choices.
Yes, I'm not stopping to question every word.
That makes your speech smoother and more natural.
Let me continue. I almost dropped my phone earlier when I was walking.
That sounds natural.
The task is nearly done, so we can finish soon.
That works well.
It feels like both words now have a place in my speech.
And you're using them in the right contexts without forcing them.
That's a big change from how I started.
Yes, at the beginning, you were unsure even when the sentence was correct.
Now I feel more in control, even without thinking too much.
That's the goal of this kind of learning.
I think this approach makes learning more practical.
It does, because it focuses on real usage, not just theory.
If someone asked me what I learned today, I would say I learned how to listen to my own speech.
That's a strong takeaway.
And also how to notice small differences that I ignored before.
Those small differences are what make your English sound natural.
I feel like I've moved from confusion to clarity without memorizing anything.
That's because you changed how you observe language.
This has been very helpful.
If this conversation helped you understand something new about how English works, you can support the channel by liking the video, sharing it, and subscribing to Talk Ava.
And if you keep practicing this way, you'll start noticing these patterns more and more. Over time, what feels uncertain now will become natural, and your speech will reflect that growth.